Hi, I'm Nisha DeGaring, host of Good Things Utah, and I've been a longtime supporter of Todd's Belief Cast. I hope you find inspiration in the courageous stories shared by the amazing people Todd features on his show. The guests serve as shoulders for us to stand on, allowing us to see a little further and cultivate belief in oneself. Remember, you have the dignity and power to change. I encourage you to keep striving and believing in yourself. Enjoy today's podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Todd Sylvester with the Todd Inspires Belief Cast. As always, thank you for tuning in week after week. You guys are amazing. We are trending, and it's because of you guys. We're ranked in the top 150 in mental health. We got sponsors. We've been here 7 years. I've got amazing guests week after week. I just pinch myself. Honestly, it's the coolest thing. I get to hear some amazing stories. And guys, you're in for a treat today. We have Amy Abshere on our show today. Amy, thank you for being here.
Of course.
Amy and I, before I get into a little bit of her background, we worked together at Wasatch Recovery. You've been here a couple of years now?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we love her. She speaks her mind. She has no filter. But that's what we love about you. You are you, and I love it. And I really have grown to really love you in so many ways because, I think we get each other.
Mm-hmm.
We can bounce ideas off of each other, especially with clients that we've been working with and ideas for groups and things like that. So that's been fun. But then also just joking around and having a good time.
Too much of that. Most of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm LDS, she's Jewish, and we make fun with each other about Jewish people and LDS people, just the quirks that we have.
Yes.
And it's just great that we can just be that way with each other. I love that. You're really easy to get along with. But guys, she has a story. She's been through a lot in her life. She's doing amazing things. You guys are in for a treat today. She completed her undergraduate education at the University of California, Irvine in Sociology and Business Management. She's been a professional in fitness industry since 2011. Long time.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, you're one of the most in shape people I've ever met.
Besides yourself.
Well, no, I'm trying to catch up. Matter of fact, you developed and created a wellness program for a renowned treatment center in California. You also are opening a fitness studio called Work in American Fork, Pleasant Grove area.
Yep.
And I think you're at the beginning stages. It's now being built. Is that correct?
Yes, we have the building. The lease has been signed, and we're going to start construction any day now.
I love it.
We're hoping to open in September.
Okay. We're going to talk more about that when we get towards the end here. You're just a very passionate person. I mean, you have so much energy. You come into the office. It's like, okay, Amy's here. You can feel. You don't have to say a word. The energy's in the room. But again, that's what I love about you. You just live your life with passion, and I try to be more like you, honestly. You lead with humor, and you have a big heart. You're humble at the same time. So tell us maybe where you grew up and a little bit about your family, if you will. Yeah,
so I grew up in the Santa Clarita Valley in California, which is a suburb of Los Angeles. And my whole life I spent in California up until the last 2 years when we moved to Utah. But my childhood was, I've said this before on other podcasts when I do share my story. My childhood was very normal. And I know that has, a weird connotation to it because what really is normal. But when I say like my childhood was normal, it was like I had mom and dad in the home.
Yeah.
My dad was a dentist. He did very well. He still is a dentist.
Yeah.
My mom was stay-at-home, full-time mom, homemaker, made sure she kept the ship running while my dad was at work. I started playing sports from a very young age. I have an older sister. We've always had dogs. And I never really wanted for anything as a child. I always felt really taken care of, and there was nothing that really ever rocked my world, that as far as like trauma is concerned. Like I said, I started playing sports at a very young age. My parents threw me into everything, and kind of whatever stuck. And for me, that was running and soccer. And so from the time I was 4 years old all the way up through college, I was playing soccer and running. And so yeah, I can't think of anything in my childhood that would have ever led me down the path that I ended up later down the road.
Yeah. And I'm glad you're saying that because, we all go through stuff. It doesn't matter if things were normal or abnormal or whatever that even means. Like you said, people who know you now, you're a very confident, like we said, passionate person. Were you like that as a kid too, though? Were you like this confident girl, like, oh, soccer? Okay, I'll tackle that. Or did you have moments where you felt timid and scared or?
It was interesting. I had very high self-esteem when it came to sports in school. So something that was really important in my family and in my household was education and like sports and being someone who strives and achieves and does well. And that was kind of brought on by my dad.
Okay.
And also my mom too, I guess. But yeah, I always had higher self-esteem in those areas, but I remember as a kid having a lot of anxiety because of the level of achievement and having to do well. And with that, I also had parents that were very anxious people too.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like only in the last couple of years that I look back on this, that since I've told my story a few times recently, I didn't really realize how anxious my parents were and how anxious I was because I was kind of, grabbing on to that energy that they were putting off. But
I've heard before that anxiety is the only emotion that's contagious.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Someone else is angry, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I'm feeling it
you
too.
You can like feel it in your body.
Totally.
And so I was able to channel a lot of that anxiety into school and sports. And I learned from a very young age that if I did well in school and sports, then I was going to be, I was going to have positive attention. I wasn't going to be in trouble. And as I got a little bit older, I'm probably jumping ahead a little bit, but as I got a little bit older, like junior high and high school, my anxiety around school and sports was alleviated by like, being kind of a bad kid. Like not a bad kid, but
like taking risks and things like that?
I would like sneak out and I would like drink sometimes and like, I had my sports friends and then I had my burnout friends, and I think that when I was in high school and I was playing sports year round and I was getting good grades and stuff, because I was doing that, I was able to get away with a lot of stuff behind my parents' backs.
Yeah.
That double life started very early with me. Yeah.
Were you trying to hide it too, though, at the same time?
Yeah.
Did you know that what you were doing, I probably shouldn't be doing
Totally.
this?
I would be grounded. I mean, I got caught a few times. Okay. But for the most part, it was, I just kind of want to hide this. And because there's like shame and stuff involved with like doing something wrong and, being caught. And at that age, it was more like, not shame of doing something wrong, but being caught. And I didn't want to get in trouble,
Well, and, for those who don't know you, I mean, you're in recovery.
Yes.
And I'd like to say you're recovered. Okay. And I know it goes against the grain. It's done. It's game over.
Yes.
You go to high school, you're still doing your sports and stuff, and you're doing some of these behaviors. Take us from there and kind of how you got caught up in addiction and that part of your story, because I know that's a very intense, really heavy time in your life.
So high school, my sophomore year of high school, I ended up securing a scholarship to play soccer at UC Irvine.
Okay.
And I was in 10th grade. So that was really early, right?
That's amazing.
And during that time, I was doing like what I thought at the time was like normal teenage behavior, like partying, drinking, doing drugs, but still like managing school and being like a part of my family. It wasn't problematic to the degree of like addiction. But I mean, looking back now, it was definitely problematic.
For sure.
Because the earlier we start doing all that, the more propensity we have for addiction. And it runs in my family too. So I have the ism, and as we know, if you have that genetic predisposition and you also throw the environment in there too to foster it, you're making the whole addiction soup, that you're going to eat later on. So high school, I secured a scholarship, and I just kind of like went on drinking and partying, and also that is when I started getting involved with boys and relationships, and my self-esteem and self-worth, and I didn't realize this until much later on with a lot of like therapy. My self-esteem and self-worth in relationships with men was very poor from the time I was in high school.
Okay.
And that unfortunately was a huge part of my addiction later on down the road. So I'm kind of just like setting the stage for that. But then my senior year rolled around, and I knew that the NCAA was going to be drug testing me, and that I did not want to even like risk losing my scholarship or anything like that. So I cleaned my act up, and it wasn't hard. I was about to be a freshman in college, and I was playing 3 sports. So I played soccer, I ran track, and I ran cross country.
Jeez.
And I was about to just, go make that my life. And when I talk about college, it was like, it was the best time of my life.
Yeah.
And during college, I was so serious about sports and school that like the partying and the drinking and any kind of that just didn't happen, and it didn't exist. Like I'm a couple times in college, but really like I would eat, sleep, and breathe practices, matches,
you're
games.
Dedicated.
So dedicated.
Yeah.
And it was my identity.
Yeah.
I had formed this identity from the time I was 4 years old, or even when we all start going to school, right?
Yeah,
we go to school. What are you? I'm a student.
Yep.
Then you throw athlete in there. I'm a student athlete. And that was who I was to my core.
Yeah.
And college was wonderful. I got into a couple bad relationships in college just because I have a really bad picker. I used to.
You got a good picker right now.
I do.
You got an awesome husband.
I have a great husband.
He's amazing.
He is the culmination of everything right I did for myself.
Sure. So let's talk about that for a second. How you said you have this, you're attracting these men who aren't healthy.
Yeah.
Let's just say it that way. Right? Bad picker, as you called it. Why do you think that is? I mean, looking back now, again, I know it's easy to, because you're in the moment, you're out, you're in college,
I
having
just like
fun.
them, or they're hot,
There's
or
something
whatever.
about them,
Yeah,
because I think a lot of people listening right now have struggled with the same thing, or they have a son or a daughter who keeps getting in bad relationships. And
Yep.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on why that is.
I think for me, the universe presents us with lessons over and over again until we actually learn the lesson. And that for me was in the form of like a romantic relationship. But for me, I grew up, and my parents, from what I saw and like noticed, that they had a great marriage. But my dad, before he became a Christian, he really struggled with anger and rage, and it was never physical, but my dad was a yeller, and he had a really hot temper. And sometimes he would speak to my mom certain ways that, I don't know, she just let it happen. And so I watched that as a kid, and to me, like, that was normal.
This is what you do in a relationship,
right? And then you stay you stay in that. And I by no means am like throwing my dad under the bus, because he's a wonderful, wonderful man ever since he like gave his life to Christ. And, like it changed him, But yeah, I think for me, it was, I witnessed that first relationship, in my parents. And as much as us kids sometimes look at our parents and look at our family dynamic, I don't ever want to be that way. I don't ever want that. Right. We either completely turn away from it and live our lives completely different, or we fall right in line with that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. It almost happens naturally. You don't even realize it's happening.
Right.
It's like, oh, I'm doing exactly what my parents were doing.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And so I think for me, it was kind of normal to be talked down to by a man. And it was also normal for me to, you know, basically have to just like people please my way into getting like affection and attention. And I didn't witness that from my parents, but my version of that was dating, you know, men who are sociopaths. That's just how it really, I mean, that's what it was.
Yeah.
You know, and I think looking back on it, people like me, and maybe there's people who are listening too, like if you're a bright light, if you're someone who shines super bright and you have a lot, you're like a magnetic human being, people of a lower vibration will be attracted to you because they need you to lift them up in some way. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And you describe yourself perfectly. Like you really are high vibrating, high, you know, bright light that shines. And I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah. And that's what I think.
So that's what started happening.
Yes.
Were these relationships, if it's okay to ask you, were they abusive? Did they get to a point where they were harming you in that way?
Later, like in after college. Yes.
Okay.
And, okay, so I'll keep going with.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
So
thanks for sharing that, by the way.
Yeah.
I think that's just important for our listeners to hear that. That was really well said.
It is important because I think people have a lot of shame around stuff like this, and it's not really talked about that much because, you know, it's easy to look at someone in a bad relationship and be like, leave. Why are you not leaving?
Yeah.
Right?
And it's easy to say that from the outside.
100%.
It's like, what are you doing? What's your problem?
Yeah.
Why can't you just walk away?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's
when really it's like the deepest self-worth wound that like needs to be uncovered. So college is wonderful. I'm a scholar athlete. I'm playing 3 sports at the Division I level. Like I'm living life. I am Miss Student Athlete. And my senior year of college, I ended up getting an injury where I had a stress fracture in my pelvis. And I'm pretty sure I got it during cross country season, going into track season, just from running so much. Yeah. And with that injury, my coaches were like, well, you could either, you know, sit the rest of your season. It is your final season, right? You could either sit out your last season, or we can manage it and you can, you know, run through it, meaning like just toughen up and we'll deal with it as we go. Right. And of course, in my mind, I'm like, I am not going to sit my last season. There's no way.
Yeah. You're like, I'm going to tough this out.
Totally. And I had sports medicine doctors. I had the best free, you know, physical therapy and ice baths and massages and just the top tier Division I, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
They treat you like a freaking celebrity. Yeah. And so I had all that, and I was able to run through my season, and I ended up like PRing in the mile. I ran a 4:36, which is crazy town, right?
For those who don't understand, that is
it's fast.
Fast.
Yeah.
I mean, Roger Bannister was the first person to run a mile under 4 minutes, and that was unheard of. The world believed you couldn't run that fast. And you're right there. That tells me something, how fast you can run.
I was fast, and
I
was dedicated, and my whole life was just so focused on being the best. Yeah. You know, and there's good and bad things that come with that mindset. Yeah. And so I ended up PRing, and it was time to graduate, and all of a sudden, Todd, my entire world, everything that I knew about myself, who I was gone. So I had a life coach back in the day tell me it's called the college letdown, you know, where everything, and I'm sure there's people out there who feel the same way, but everything that we do as students from the time, I mean, how many years of school is that, right? From the time you're in elementary school all the way into college, it's like your whole life. Yeah. And then you throw sports in there, and I graduated and I was like, who am I? Like, what do I do now? If I don't have any grades to dictate like how good I am, if I don't have any meets or games or practices to dictate like my progress as a human being, like, what does this say about me? Like, what do I have to offer the world now besides nothing? Because the next graduating class is coming in behind me and they matter more.
Yeah. And I can relate with that because I had lost a basketball scholarship, and that was my identity too. And when that happened, I just thought I'm nothing at this point, you know, and it got to the point where I didn't want to be around anymore.
Yeah.
So I can totally relate with what you're saying. And I think people are hearing this too. I've even heard like when Michael Jordan retired, he said like, man, I felt depressed because I was so used to hearing 60,000 fans 4 times a week cheering for me. And now all of a sudden it's quiet.
Silence.
It's quiet.
Yeah.
Now what? So, man, that's a good way of, pointing that out.
I think that happens to a lot of college athletes who, and there's a lot of college athletes who end up, falling down the wrong path, kind of like what I did too, because nobody was there to guide them and nobody was there to tell them like, it's not these things that make you who you are. It's like the characteristics and the character qualities that you have that was affording you to do these things.
Absolutely.
And I didn't learn that until way later.
Yeah.
So I graduate, I've got this injury. My mom gets diagnosed with cancer. I didn't know it at the time, but I was going through a major identity crisis. Like I couldn't put the pieces together for myself as to like what was happening inside me until I obviously therapy, later down the road. And I was in a relationship with a guy who was very, very mentally ill. Like he was a bit like schizophrenic, but like didn't believe that he was, and also was very emotionally and verbally abusive to me, but like he was hot. So
you thought, hey, I'll put up with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was the perfect storm. Those things were like the vortex of what was taking me out. And without having the outlet of sports anymore, and I had this injury, I ended up going to a doctor and I got some pain meds. And I knew right away that these not only numbed or took the pain away, like physical pain away from me, but they numbed whatever noise was going on in my mind. Right. And I knew it, like I felt it, and I knew I was in trouble, but it felt good. And it felt, I didn't have to feel sad. I didn't have to feel like scared that my mom was going to die. I didn't have to feel bad that I didn't know where I was going or what direction my life was going in. And long after the pain of the injury was gone, I was still taking them because it just numbed everything else.
Yeah. We hear that often, right? I got an injury even, and took that, and it's like, not only did it help the injury, it took away all this other emotional turmoil that I'm going through.
Yeah.
So here you are wrestling with all of that, but then you found at least a quick fix, if you will. So then, but you knew it. I love that you noticed, okay, this is not good.
I mean,
I'm in trouble.
I knew I couldn't put it down because I was, and I also didn't understand the like mechanism of physical dependency yet. Like I didn't understand that opiates, the receptors in our brain, and becoming dependent on them. I just, I had no idea. I didn't know anything about addiction. That's the problem, is that, I was told that it runs in my family and that I needed to be careful, but nobody ever sat me down and was like, here's the deal.
No one explained the details.
No. Yeah. And while this is all going on, remember what I was talking about earlier with my double life? Yeah. I was like, okay, I need to start achieving. I know that also makes me feel good about myself if I start achieving and people see from the outside looking in that I have my shit together. Yeah. So I got all my certifications to become a personal trainer and a group fitness instructor, National Academy of Sports Medicine. I started working in fitness like right away after college.
Yeah.
And I also was then signed to a modeling agency. And so I was modeling for Nike. I was on a contract with them for 18 months. And so I was traveling all over the country doing photo shoots as a body double for professional athletes. Yes, they use them. They do. And
wow, I didn't know that about your story. I knew a lot about your story, but this is the first I've heard this.
Yeah. And so I am like elevating my career in fitness, like rapidly elevating my career in fitness, but still I have this like dark, sick part of me that's traveling to New York or to Oregon or wherever it is that I'm going for these photo shoots, and making sure I have enough pills to get me through the shoot. Otherwise I would go into withdrawal. It was the most insane. It was, and I was in hotels alone by myself, like just like taking these pills, and it was so sad. It was sad. Yeah. Yeah. But I was like, but I'm doing all these great things. So, oh well, And then in 2013, I ended up asking my parents for help because I just was like, what? Like, I couldn't afford it anymore. It was getting out of hand. I was taking up to like 30 Norcos a day.
Jeez.
Yeah. I was like vomiting blood
insane.
And like not eating, but like still looking like a fitness, like I just genetically was still looking good, not missing my workouts. So it's like when people think of a drug addict and they think of addiction, they don't think of somebody that looks like me. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. From the outside, they wouldn't even have known, like, oh, she's got her stuff. Look how fit she is. Look how good she is.
Right.
And,
And so I end up coming to my parents and just asking them, like, and telling them. I was just super straightforward with them. I was like, you guys, I've been addicted to these pills since I had my injury. I need help getting off. I don't know what to do. And my parents were like, great. What can we do to help? Like just went straight into action mode.
Wow.
Were
you expecting that, or was there?
I don't know what I was expecting, but I was expecting not that.
Yeah, because usually that's not the response.
No. And,
right?
No, and they were just like, okay, cool, like look up a treatment center type deal. And I'm like, okay. So I look up this place in Orange County. I won't say the name of it anymore, but it ended up being like a total hack job.
Yeah. We've talked about that.
Yes. I like showed up one day and
we won't bash the name.
Their windows were boarded up and I was like, you just don't need my check. Okay, cool. But it was an IOP program, an intensive outpatient program that I did while I was still working. It was like client in the morning, teach a class, go to IOP, check, go back to work. Like, it wasn't like a immersive experience by any means. It was just, I just thought, like, as long as I wasn't on these pills anymore, that I was totally fine. I had no idea how much I actually needed to like dive inward, because nobody was, I mean, there's no therapist. It was the weirdest thing. Yeah. Right. It was so crazy. Wow. And then I ended up just being off of the pills for about a year and a half.
Okay. So I want to pause just for a second. And here's why. I want to, and this is for anyone out there. And again, we're all learning as we go. I'm a parent of 4 kids. I'm still learning to be a parent. We don't know what we're doing. Mm-hmm. We're doing our best. Your parents did your best. But I want to point out the way they responded to you when you came to them with that addiction problem. Because I think a reason why a lot of people won't come out and ask for help is their mind is made up that I'm going to be shamed. Yep. They're going to be disappointed. They're going to hate me. The list goes on.
I'm going to be in trouble.
Excuses all over the place.
People are going to know.
So again, I know your parents aren't perfect, but shout out to your parents.
I know.
For the way they responded, because it allowed you to go, okay, boy, that's nice that they're supportive, and it opened up the door for you to at least start looking down the road to getting the help.
100%.
So I just want to point that out for anyone hearing this, that This is important when our kids come to us and they're struggling, man. They need to hear,
I'm here for you.
I got your back. This sucks. Yeah. I'm sorry you're struggling, but let's do this.
Yeah.
What can we do to help?
Yeah.
So anyway, shout out to your parents for that.
And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that, because at the time it was just kind of like a whirlwind.
Yeah, you don't. Like, you're still in your head with all this. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I completed that program or whatever it was, and ended up just like going back to life as normal. You know, I was never really like truly happy after college. Like I can't really specifically remember times where I was like, man, I'm so happy. Like I'm so proud of myself. Like I never got to that place. And I was working a ton, and I just was drowning myself with work, and I had a great career, and I was making a ton of money, and I was doing really well professionally. Yeah. And then boom, I'm in another terrible relationship. And at this time when I got into this relationship with this person, this was in 2015.
Okay.
My work schedule was completely unmanageable. It was like I was being taken advantage of right and left everywhere I was, because I had no boundaries. Right? Like when you're somebody who has no boundaries, like you are up for grabs, you know?
Yeah. You open yourself up to everything.
Everything. Yep. And that causes a lot of like self-hatred and stress and stuff like that. And so I was in a bad relationship. I was being taken advantage of at work. My relationship with my family was okay. They just didn't really approve of this guy that I was dating. And then I got a neck injury. I slammed a barbell down on my neck, on my cervical spine, and I was like,
oh, wow.
No, like, you know, as long as I don't take pills, like I'll be okay. So I was going to physical therapy a couple days a week. I was doing the stretches and the icing and the heating and the this and that. But every time I would, you know, make some progress, I'd be set back because my job was so physical.
Yeah, you're doing all kinds of
And I remember laying in bed one night, and I was so uncomfortable, and I was trying to go to sleep, because I had to get up and teach class at like 5 a.m. And I just grabbed my x-rays and I drove down to an urgent care, and I got a prescription for muscle relaxers and opiates. And I told myself, okay, just as long as I take these like how I'm supposed to, like I'm going to be fine.
Yeah.
I walked in the door to my apartment, and my loser boyfriend was there. And he grabbed the bag for me. He took the bottles out of the bag, dumped a bunch in his hand, took them. And I was like, I know what this is. Game on. I was already, there's my perfect storm again.
Yeah.
Bad relationship.
Yep.
Life was completely unmanageable at work.
Yep.
And I, you know, had this injury.
You're
right?
in pain.
I was in pain, I guess. And I wasn't going to do anything about the state of my life, because my self-worth was so low that I was like, I have to escape somehow.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to escape this way.
Yeah. Wow. Again, I mean, anyone listening to this, that's so common.
Very common.
I hate to say that, but it's just true. We have such a hard time believing in ourselves in such a way, because if you were the person you are today, meaning the woman who believes in herself, who doesn't put up with unhealthiness anymore, who won't settle for this or that, you know what you want, and you're not going to put yourself in that position. But obviously you had to learn maybe all of this to get to that point.
There's just so much surrender that has to happen before that. Like you have to be willing to like turn your back on it, the way that you were living 100%, to like to walk into any kind of light. And so
now you're back in.
I'm back
full
in,
blown.
and within 4 months I'm doing heroin.
Jeez.
4 months. And I think back now, and I can like remember, I can feel it in my body, but it was the most spiritually like void deficit I had ever been in my life. And I remember going to go pick up heroin. It was after I taught a class, or my classes, and I was feeling sick already. And I went to go pick it up. I was by myself, and I drove, Fullerton. I don't know if anyone knows where that is, but it's in Orange County. It's kind of like a rough neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I picked it up and I went and pulled over on the side of the road to like, use some to get well before I could drive back. And I remember looking at my eyes in the rear view mirror, and just like being in my silent, hot car and just staring at myself. And I could see like right through my eyes. And
wow.
In that moment, it just felt like my eyes looked black.
Yeah.
And I remember in that moment, I started crying and I just said, please, God, please do something. Please help me. I don't know what to do. I'm so ashamed. I hate myself. How did I get here? Right? How did a Division I tri-sport athlete, scholar, whatever, great family, how did I get here? Like, who am I?
Right.
And I just said, I don't know what to do. Please help me. And, during that time, it was so funny. My double life really caught up to me because, I've always kind of looked a certain way, and there was always women that like, I don't want to use the term idolize, but like I inspired them, in the way that I looked and
for sure
carried myself. And even though a lot of the time during that time it was fake, I remember women asking me like, what do you eat? Like, how can I look like you? How can I emulate you? And I just thought to myself, you don't want to be like me. I fucking hate myself. You don't want to be anything like me.
Yeah.
And that was tough. And so after I like literally just out loud was like pleading with God, because I was like so ready to surrender. I was ready. And a week later, my mom had called me and was like, come home. We haven't seen you in a long time, And I was like, I need my family. Like, I've isolated myself away. I'm like, okay, I'll come home. And so I packed a bag with just like pajamas and like my glasses and like a toothbrush. And I went home and I walked into like a full-blown intervention. My family had known.
Okay.
They knew.
Yeah, they could see the downfall.
Everything.
Yep.
They saw it all. And I was actually outed by one of my friends, who's a doctor who I lived with for a little while, who found some foils in the trash can in our apartment, and she sent them off to a lab and had them tested and sent the results to my mom.
Oh man.
Like a month before the intervention. Mm-hmm.
Shout out to that friend.
Diane Kaiser.
Right?
I love you, girl.
That's a true friend, honestly.
Uh-huh.
It really is.
And I was never mad at her for it.
That's good. That's pretty rare, by the way.
Yeah. I think I was so ready to be done with that life that like,
well, it's almost like an answer to that plea.
It was.
You're like, what? Please help me.
It was.
And here's this friend that goes and does something very vulnerable for her too.
Before I even made that prayer.
Right? But that's what I'm saying. I think God works in ways where he's putting all these puzzle pieces together before you even know it.
Oh, it was already written in the stars. And so
God gives me chills.
I walk into my own intervention, which happened to be my favorite show when in high school on A&E, by the way. So I've had my own intervention. So special. I was waiting for the cameras and waiting for.
Hopefully you weren't watching it going, one day.
Where's Ken Seeley?
One day I'm going to be in this show.
Yeah. No. If anything, I was like, I want to be the person that's helping those people. I know. But I didn't know. I had no idea. So we had the intervention and I just was like, yes, I'm going to go. I'm going to do this, whatever. I don't want to hear your letters. I'm not interested in hearing them. I'm going.
Yeah.
And it was a 4-day wait period before I could get in. And so I had to detox on my parents' couch for 4 days. And my mom was a angel. She took my keys from me because you just never know.
You never know.
Right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, right.
You just
hide
never
those
know.
things.
She parked me on the couch and she didn't leave my side for 4 days.
Dang.
Anything that I needed or wanted, she just needed to get me there, you know?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I'm like, yes, of course I'm going to go to treatment for 30 days. 30 days. I'll be totally fine in 30 days. Right?
Yeah.
So I show up at this treatment center. It's called Beit T'Shuvah, and it's in Culver City, Los Angeles. It is the craziest, most Jewish, insane place I've ever been in my life. And it is the best. I don't know. They do magic there. I'm telling you what. They do some like Jewish voodoo magic there. And so you don't have to be Jewish to go there. But it was actually very cool that I went because I was able to reconnect with this part of my, you know, my heritage and my spirituality that I really never got a chance to explore. But I get there and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do 30 days. 30 days in rehab. No big deal. Go right back to my apartment with my loser boyfriend and my job that I hate. Right?
Rush right back to where you were at.
My first 30 days. And if there's anyone out here who's listening to this who is either going to go to treatment or has been to treatment or knows someone who's going through it right now, that first 30 days, I was the biggest critic of all, right? Like, I could find everything wrong with the program, the staff, the food, the accommodations. Like, it was, I'm better than this place. My ego was coming out so hard to protect me from something, right? Maybe from vulnerability and humility. I don't know, but I was not humble my first month there until I started to see another one of those God shots, like God's hand in my life in such a clear way that I just couldn't ignore it.
Yeah.
My boyfriend showed up to visit me and he showed up loaded, and I knew that I was going to break up with him. I was like, no. And then at that point, within that first month, and I don't know truly what it was except for one of those God shots, but within 2 days I had broken up. This was like 2 days before I was supposed to discharge. I broke up with my boyfriend. I gave my parents power of attorney to go down to my apartment and move all my stuff out. And I quit my job and I decided to just stay.
Wow. 2 days before you were supposed to go.
Mm-hmm. And I stayed for 7.5 months in residential treatment.
Wow.
I gave up this life that I thought was so important. I make so much money. I'm a fitness star.
Yeah.
I've got an apartment, you know, all of these things on the outside that meant nothing to me because I couldn't even enjoy them.
Well, because again, looking from the outside, people would look at you, man, she's got it all. Look at her. And I want to look like you. I want to be like you. And you're going, you have no idea of the hell I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing too. And it's so beautiful that you got to that point and, you know, those God shots, as you mentioned, to where you're like, all right, I'll stay here. I wasn't expecting you to say 7.5 months.
7.5 months.
I thought you were going to say, I stayed another 30 days.
No, I didn't go back.
That's amazing.
I didn't go back to Orange County for almost 3 years.
Wow.
I left one day and didn't come back for like 3 years.
That's amazing.
And it was that true moment of surrender.
Yeah.
And I just like felt the magic of like starting over and building a foundation and learning like what happened to me. How can I make sure that this does not happen again?
Yeah.
I took treatment so seriously. And when I see, because I work in this field, it breaks my heart when I see people like not grabbing on to the life saving and some of it is patronizing and remedial and juvenile and learn, you know, but it's all has a purpose. And like truly if I didn't surrender, I would be dead. I should have been dead many times.
Right.
And I just grabbed onto it because I knew like my faith had become so strong at that point. And I knew that I could rebuild, and whatever I was going to rebuild was going to be so much better on this solid foundation.
Yeah.
And that's what I did my first year in recovery. I just listened, and I poured my heart out in therapy, and I poured my heart out in groups, and I was a part of everything. I mean, I was a part of their like traveling musical. I played on the softball team. I worked on the moving truck in the thrift store. I baked challah bread. I served at Shabbat. I did everything. And I went from being this like 27-year-old like fitness professional to then being this 27-year-old woman in rehab who doesn't have enough money to get her nails done anymore, to get her hair cut, to do any of that. And I lived like in the most simple and humble way.
Yeah. And you probably were the happiest at that point.
I was. It was like I entered into like the Matrix.
Yeah.
Like that time of my life, I look back now, that was 8.5 years ago.
Wow.
You know, that was 8.5 years ago. And I look back and I'm like, dang, like that was, I don't know. I think that place was something special. And I had a counselor, a spiritual counselor, a therapist, and like this whole treatment team. You know, it was a very heavily spiritually focused program.
Yeah, you mentioned that before. Yeah.
And then I decided like it's time to go back to school. Like I'm going to take out some loans and I'm going to go back to school. And I ended up going to UCLA to get my KDAC, so to become a counselor. And I went to night school for 18 months and worked for like $13 an hour at the treatment center.
Really?
And then
that's awesome.
And once I was done with school and I was in my practicum, they allowed me to like pilot this program the curriculum that I had created, which like blends all the best things from like health, you know, gut health, wellness, nutrition, movement, sweat, the principles of counseling, and kind of bring it all together because they go hand in hand. And I was able to pilot that, and I graduated from school. I got licensed, and then I moved back to Orange County and met my husband.
Wow. That, you know, that's incredible. What a beautiful story. And thanks for sharing that, by the way, too.
Yeah, dude. I feel like once I get going, I just...
No, I love it. No, I love it. I love you. You're amazing. God, I have so many questions to go. I mean, it's almost, okay, you're opening up this place called Work, okay? It's a fitness center where people come in, they're going to get in shape. It's a high intense, right? High level.
Strength training,
all this stuff. And as you were sharing this in my head, this is why I'm bringing this up now. And I was picturing the picture that we had up here. You'll see it when I actually go live with this. But we had this beautiful picture of Amy, and she's just standing there, you know, in front of some treadmills, and but she looks just fantastic. But just like this powerhouse, this light. And I think if people understood this story when they just looked at that picture, they'd be like, "I'm into whatever she's gonna do. I mean, I'm in. Sign me up," kind of thing. And it's a beautiful thing to see.
It took me a really long time to be able to like listen to that and like know and agree with what you're saying. Yeah. Like it took me a long time to be able to like own like being proud of myself.
That's Molly, by the way. Shout out to Molly.
Whenever I start to cry, she licks my tears.
She loves you.
Yeah, it's... Oh, okay. Thank you.
Aren't dogs... Put that on? But absolutely we are. Aren't dogs the best? Yeah. Dogs aren't...
She knows...
Aren't they? She knows you. She knows you.
I know. Oh my God.
That's beautiful.
Now I'm sweating. But with what you're saying, it's like... I'm now entering into this chapter of my life where like everything that I have learned from the last 8 years, like I've been applying it like year by year, and like now I'm entering to this chapter of my life where I'm like, I'm going to be a business owner, and I'm going to create something where people, because the fitness industry can be so superficial.
Right.
And there's a lot of problems in the fitness industry.
Sure.
When it comes to a lot of things, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And my views and the way that I approach fitness now comes from a much deeper place that's not so insecure and superficial.
Yeah.
And when I open this studio, people are going to know that, and people are going to see and feel seen and appreciated and noticed, and all the things that, like, you know, fitness influencers want all the time, to be noticed, right?
Yeah.
I want to notice the people that are walking through the doors, and I want to know your story. I want to know your name. I want to know what your limitations are. I want to know what you dream for yourself, and let's take you there.
Wow.
You know?
That's beautiful. Well, I know that place is going to be amazing, and I'm so glad that you're doing it. It's been a dream. You've talked about it with me even for.
I told you
the
how
past
scared
year.
I was.
You were scared, you know, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you didn't let that fear hold you back, and I respect that so much. That you're doing the things you were meant to do.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe this, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. I say this to the clients all the time. Adversity and addiction is the wake-up call to your greatness.
Mm.
You think about it. Think of all the adversity you've gone through. It's as if the universe was trying to wake you up, Amy, going, "Hey, this isn't working for you. You were built for more."
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I felt that way when I was like praying in my car as I was like using heroin, right? I knew it, but I would never, Todd, have imagined my life to be what it is now. And like I always knew that I had something, you know, light and bright about me, but I could never like receive like compliments or what, you know, like people telling me like exactly what you're saying. Like I couldn't feel it.
Yeah.
And that wake up call was almost 8.5 years ago. 8 years.
Yeah.
And 4 months and some 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. I don't keep count.
Yeah.
But
no need to.
Like when I think about the last 8 years, it's like, and people in recovery, you know, are so quick to, they just want to get time. They just want to get time and they want to get going, you know? And the first year of recovery is all about foundation, building a foundation, being small, living small, shrinking your life down, and
simplifying
just
things.
That's it.
Yeah.
Year 2 was when I started to put into practice the things that I learned in year 1. I was like now in application mode, right? Like I was able to kind of step out of like that like cave of year 1 recovery and start to apply things. And year 3 is when the magic happened.
Yeah.
Year 3, I ended up getting a wonderful job, moving back to Orange County, meeting my husband, my now husband. Just like
DJ.
life, Daniel, life just blew up after year 3, you know, and then year 4, I got married.
You know, there's a beautiful quote that's floating around. It's by Dipin Parmar that says, "The magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding."
Mm-hmm.
And you said the magic happened in year 3-ish. And again, to be completely honest, it's because you were putting in the work. Had you avoided that work you're talking about,
100%.
you wouldn't have experienced the magic. So I want to make that clear. And that goes, we want the quick fix. We want things now. We want to, let's just go, you know, we see it here in treatment, like the 30 days, get me out of here.
Yeah, I'm done.
What are you running to?
Mm-hmm.
Your life, you were in a gutter.
Yeah.
What's going on here? And so your story really points out how important it is that you, again, like you said, surrender, take the time, put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
The magic will come,
mm-hmm.
but it's a little further down than you think sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that you point that out.
It's true. It's like people think sometimes when you get sober, everything's great. Life is just, this amazing, magical unicorn. And like the truth is life is still life, and life happens. People are going to pass away. You might get into a car accident. You're going to, lose a job, whatever it is. Life is still going to happen. But like the approach to life and the way in which I viewed the world shifted so much to where like small things wouldn't shake me and throw me.
Right.
Yeah.
You learn to do hard better.
Exactly. Literally that. Because doesn't get easier, right? But your ability to handle it
exactly. You
gets
learn
better.
to do it better. Yeah.
Do hard better. Can we get that on t-shirts?
Let's do it. Me and you. Let's do it.
Wait, really though?
Partners. We're in.
Partners. Yeah.
I'm going to ask a couple more questions because, again, I could talk to you all day. I know. I'm sorry. We're almost there, sister. Okay?
Just gonna.
No, you're good. Yeah.
Just gonna unbutton.
We're almost there.
Don't worry, I'm still wearing clothes.
We're almost there. What do you love most about yourself?
Well, can I name a few things?
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely.
I definitely love the way that I connect with people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that my ability to connect is a gift.
Yeah.
And I've learned how to hone in on that gift.
Yeah. I would agree with you. Just knowing you, watching you. I mean, you really are good at it.
I just,
You are. You're a natural.
And I love, this is how I've always been. I love that no matter how hard or how much self-doubt that I have, I don't give up.
Ooh.
No matter how scared I am, how much self-doubt I have, how hard things are getting, I don't give up. I may complain or cry and be upset, but I don't give up.
I love that. That is so well said.
That is the mindset of an athlete.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah, because I've heard it once said, in order to be brave, you have to have fear.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have no fear, there's no reason to be brave.
Yeah.
So you're very brave because you've had fear.
Yeah. And I still do. And I still am afraid. And I still have, I still struggle with self-doubt. But it's those things don't, even though I struggle with them, they don't dictate the way that I move in this world.
Right. Yeah. You learn to work through it.
I'm doing hard better.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. If there's someone who's listening to your voice right now, and they're in a dark place and they're struggling and they don't know what to do, what would you tell that person right now?
There's always a way out. You just have to look for it, right? The way out is always provided for you. And that way out could look like calling someone. It could look like showing up at the doorsteps of a treatment center. It could look like confiding in someone that you love and care about. But really the way out is sharing, and it's communication, and it's being honest, and it's asking for it. And a lot of people don't want to ask for it because of the shame. Yeah. Let me tell you, whoever's listening that's carrying that shame, every single person in this world feels shame. Yeah. And your shame is no greater than someone else's. It doesn't make you special. You can go ask for help.
I love it. Yeah. You're not special in that way.
Yeah, your shame isn't more special than someone else's.
Yeah.
And it's going to kill you.
Yeah. Wow. Very well said. Well, I got to tell you, this has been amazing for me. I've known your story, but not the details around it. And I just want you to know I'm grateful to work with you. I'm grateful for your influence. I'm grateful for your passion. I'm grateful for your humor. You're crazy.
Yes.
And I freaking love it. You really are. You're crazy.
I know.
And I love it. But you just own it. and you really do, but you have a big heart, you care, you try to make a difference in everything you do. So I just want you to know how much I appreciate you as a friend, and just to be able to work with you is a true joy.
I feel the same way.
I hope you know that.
I do. And I'm so glad that we were able to do this today. And I think that, even though I'm a little scatterbrained when I tell my story, I feel like me not having shame about what I've been through is going to help someone else not feel shame 100%. About what they're going through, because addiction has no face.
Yep.
It has no race. It has no age. It has no ethnicity. Addiction is everywhere that you look. And I think that the stigma behind people like me is really false, and it's damaging. And I think the more people can see that, like, your doctor, your lawyer, your trainer, your banker, whoever it is, like, they could be struggling too. Yeah. And it's not just the person under the bridge who's homeless.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's my goal with continuing to share, is that addiction has no face.
Wow.
It's me.
Wow. I love it. Well, thank you for being on my show. It's an honor. It's taken us a while to make this happen. It's more my fault, not yours.
You're too popular and
but
famous.
I'm grateful to have you on this show. You are going to save some lives. This story will definitely save some lives. I don't say that lightly. I get responses all the time with people. And you didn't burp one time in this, which is...
I literally just did it off mic.
I know. She normally just lets it fly. That's why.
It's true. It's true.
But no, it's been a beautiful honor. And I want to... I think I failed to mention this at the beginning, but I want to thank my sponsors. It's funny. I told you, I don't really edit the show. And I always mess up in the opening. I really do. I forgot to mention my sponsors.
I noticed that.
Yeah. But anyway, sponsors... Love you. Thank you for believing in me and allowing me to do this. You guys really make this happen. Also, the music you hear at the beginning, at the end of this podcast, is by my good friend Paul Cardall. He's got an amazing story. He's an award-winning pianist. I got to give a shout out to him. Thank you, Paul, for letting us use your beautiful, wonderful, life-saving music. It really, truly is. It's been a part of my Hour of Power for 30 years.
Whoa.
So thank you so much, Paul. I love you. Amy, I love you. Thank you so much. If people want to reach out to you, they want to know more about you, they want to know about this new fitness center work.
Yes.
How do they get a hold of you? What's the best way for them to
can
get out
follow me on Instagram at Amy Green Fitness. And then the work studio Instagram is at work_Utah_. And that's where you can kind of stay up to date on when we're going to be opening. We're going to be releasing all kinds of cool packages and like free months of training, and we're going to hit the ground running.
Yeah. And please ask Amy any kind of question you might have. If you're struggling, ask her a question. If you have a loved one who's in the grip of addiction, or a son or a daughter who's just struggling with anything, send them a link to this episode, have them listen to it.
Reach out.
And then it breaks the ice, and then you reach back out to them and ask them about, what did you think about Amy's story?
Yeah.
And it's going to open a conversation. And if this doesn't inspire them, I'd be shocked if it wouldn't inspire them to go like, I need help.
Yeah.
Please get me somewhere.
Yeah.
Amy's story, you'll do that. It's going to be awesome.
Hope so.
I freaking love it. So anyway, thanks, Amy. You're the best. My listeners, thank you. You're the best for always supporting this. I love you. Love my sponsors. And I just, man, what a great day. I'm full. Thank you.
Me too. Thank you.
Love you.